Welcome to Season 2 of Digging Deeper Ag Chats with Al, the podcast that brings you timely and practical stories straight from the paddock. From sowing to shearing, fire to flood, and everything in between. We're here when it matters most. Each episode taps into real experiences, expert voices, and grounded advice that helps you stay ahead on farm. I'm Alistair from the Gippsland Ag Group, a grassroots, farmer-led network in Gippsland, focusing on soil, grain and fodder, pasture and livestock. We're here to support producers in building resilient and profitable enterprises across our region. So let's dig in. Welcome back to Digging Deeper. We have our regular guest who hasn't been that regular of late because I've been busy, but Morgan Davies, welcome back.
Yeah, I know you've been moonlighting with another agent, Brad Opst. I listened to that podcast and I was very jealous, Al. But it's good to be back on now.
Yeah, what tips you got for Brad?
I think he did a pretty good job for first time round. No, I think he calls it how it sees it, and he didn't swear, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, that was very unusual, I thought.
Yep. I didn't know you were allowed a cigarette in here. Joke, Brad, joke.
Yeah, no, the fire alarms, we took them out for that session, so that it didn't beep in the background. So
good.
How's he been telling you he went on it?
We always fire a few shots at each other, but he hasn't. No, hats off and credit where credit's due. He did an excellent job, and I think I couldn't agree any more with what he said. So it's good to see we're aligned in our opinions of the industry locally.
Yeah, I saw a different side of him there. I've seen him a bit in the yards and stressful days. I thought he spoke very well and showed a different side of himself, actually, I thought. So.
The warm and fuzzy side?
Yeah.
He's a big softy at heart.
There you go. Well, shout out to Brad if you're listening. So we got the okay to invite you back from Morgan, he said. So
he's probably turned it off already. Probably lost interest.
Yeah, he got his one on repeat. Okay, what's been happening in the yards, Morgs, in the last couple of weeks? We haven't seen you.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen you. What's it been, a month?
It's been more than actually.
Bit over a month, 5 weeks.
Yep.
Well, what was happening 5 weeks ago?
Well, she was dry and people were offloading pretty quick.
Yep.
Prices were holding in though.
Yep. So probably trended softer of that 5 weeks. Probably the last week or two probably started to bite and pinch, and processors and feedlotters stopped quoting a price. They started to get numbers to sort of wash into their sort of bookings and things like that, and things started to slow down in terms of the ability to get cattle in. And then guess what? It rains, and a rain fixes everything. A lot of people took their cattle off the market. A lot of people sat and ran cattle on for longer, and a lot of people bought time to renegotiate and price and everything else. So certainly assisted in the cattle job. It probably hasn't kicked the job any dearer than what it was in the spring, but certainly prolonged that and stopped the fall anyway, which is the main thing. Will it get dearer? I would probably say a little bit of grass fever around for a little while people feeling comfortable. But we get a hot day, 30, 40 degrees in late November, in December, and she'll sort of just slowly just pull up again.
Yeah. What class? All classes are going to kick on if we do get a bit more good growth? Oh,
absolutely. I think there's no real reason. Last week there was a particularly dear sale, and last week there was a public holiday. Probably not enough cattle on the market. Everyone was hanging on to a few stock, worried about because usually you get a public holiday again, another less kill day, another less market day, less stock transacted. Therefore, it creates a bit of a flood of stock, and that traditionally happens in the Melbourne Cup long weekend. But it's certainly this time went the other way. It got dearer because there was a lot of stock off the market, and they needed to fill kills for late in the week and early part of this week, and it certainly jerked into gear again. So it's settled. Pricing's pretty well similar to what it was a fortnight ago. Yeah. But how good was that rain?
Yeah, it was amazing. How far did it stretch across the state?
Yeah, very, very general. Everywhere's had a pretty good rain. I don't know about the cropping areas. I know it's through like Shepparton and Euroa and all that. There was a lot of hay on the ground. Could be a little bit of damage there, but not too much. But yeah, there seems to be cutting hay hand over fist. There seems to be a lot of hay everywhere. And South Gippsland, again, they've had another 50 mil this week, or 60, I think 100 mil in some parts from Saturday to now. So it's certainly, they're wet. They're proper winter wet. But it's a good time for those guys to be wet because it will dry and they'll continue and prolong their season.
Get a bit of warmth in that.
So they're up and about, the South Gippslanders.
What about the sheep job? How are they looking?
Yeah, again, usually there's a lot of stock on the market now, and everyone's sort of really surging to buy restocking stock. But it just seems dear enough. First cross ewe sale at Bendigo the other week, I think ewes made up to $500 or $480 or $90. That's a lot for a 1.5-year-old ewe. New lambs sort of at $350, upwards to $4. So that does look dear to me. And the requirement for first cross ewes is there, and it is a big, long, drawn-out process to breed a first cross ewe, as you well know. So those breeders haven't had some easy times the past couple of years, so it's nice to see them rewarded for sure.
Yeah, are we fully in the sucker run up here in Gippsland, are we?
Yeah, look, there are a few old lambs there kicking around, but the suckers are certainly making the money, and there's been some really good yardings at Bedsdale of sucker lambs. There's been some great drafts, actually, which is good, and everyone's just starting to come back to the market looking and go, geez, that's not too bad. You know, all those usual processes are being consistent, and they're turning up every fortnight. So we cannot complain about our little lamb market at the moment. It looked dear the other day. We saw lambs make up to $13.
Yeah, I went there the other week to have a look, and the galleries.
Was I there?
No, I didn't catch it.
I come under a lot of heat for not being, but I always try and show my face, Al.
Yeah, I don't see you there too often though. So
Yeah, I wear camouflage.
yeah, but the gallery was quite large. A few cockies starting to get about too. Just have a look there, which is good.
Yeah,
so.
they dip their toe in the water and buying a few restock lambs if they can go on them. So yeah, for the cost of sending them elsewhere, have a look at Bensdale. I think it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, especially in that trade weight range, I reckon it's good value in there. So
trade weight lambs and trade weight sheep, perfect. Super heavies, you got to do your sums.
Yeah, that's it. So we talked briefly about it, but that recent abundance of rain that we've had fairly locally, what's changed now since that rain, just from your clients?
Well, the people that are cropped and fertilised and put in crops for a spring crop, they've got something. You got a bulk. They'll have a bulk of feed in due course.
How's your little turnip crop looking?
The jam patch.
Yeah.
My place is all right. Leafy turnip. It looks okay. I did see a few white moths getting around now. So
you're right beside veggie growers. So
no, I'm starting to sound like a cocky. I'm starting to whinge.
Too much rain.
No. Look, I think it'll be good. It'll provide a bulk of feed through the summer and bring it on. I've never grown something like that before, and I can nearly say I'm like my father-in-law. I'm nearly a veggie farmer, growing a leafy turnip.
Nearly. Go and have a nibble of that, see what you think about that on your dinner plate.
Yeah.
No good.
It all tastes pretty ordinary to me. Well, what they say though, Al, is when you go out to the restaurant, no one talks about the salad, they only talk about the steak.
That's true, yeah. You don't make friend with salad, that was another quote, wasn't it?
Homer Simpson said that.
Yeah. All right, so we've got some of the producers there round about weaning time are looking to wean at the minute. What key signals would you be looking at? They've just had a bit of rain. Does that change their plan, or should they stick with what their normal process would be?
Okay. Stick to the plan. As a rule, stick to the plan. It's always a good thing to stick to the plan. So you might prolong a week, 2 weeks. Ryegrass only lives for 3 weeks longer than you think it's ever going to do anyway. Like, it usually cuts out and goes again and seeds down and everything else. So I'd be saying, give or take 2 or 3 weeks with a bit of heat around, this country will fold up again. Your native country especially. But anyone that's cropped and whatever, and you set those plans, which you set 12 weeks ago, you'll have feed. So if you've got to have it, stick to the plan for sure.
Yep. So what are some of the mistakes people are making in these times? And when you mentioned that word grass fever a second ago, that play into some of these decisions that we're making that aren't always the best?
It depends which day of the week you get me. You get me on market day, I just say buy, or sell. But no, all in all, I think people can, say you're coming into a dry time, you're feeling the pinch, okay? And you speak to your agent, and your agent says, sell your bullocks or whatever, they're fat now, sell now, the market's going to come off the pace. Usually we're pretty right. Like, gut feel, 80% will help you make your decision. But in the end, you have to make that decision too, bear in mind. But you sell a bullock, like someone the other day, they sold their bullocks for $9. A great result. They've bullocks come out at $3,000, no worries. My advice is try and trade on the same market. Go on back and buy a steer for $1,500 to $1,900 or $1,800. And if you have to feed a bit of hay or whatever to get yourself through until you get a bit of a break in the season, I'd do that. But a lot of people sell the bullock, don't do anything, sit, and then grass fever when it rains hits. So then you're in there you've missed the opportunity, the window to buy cattle, probably pretty worth the money, and usually some pretty good cattle in that time when it's dry. Now you're sort of plucking around trying to buy cattle in the middle of November where you got bits and pieces and things like that. and they can't quite get what they want. So usually if you see something you want at the time and it's in your range and you've got the ability to put it on, do it. Do it. Don't wait for a rain.
Yeah. So you're always
trade on the same market.
Yeah. So you're always looking at what you sell and then what you can buy from what you've sold.
Yeah. See if your replacement cost. You got to put the jelly beans back in the jar at some stage. So I think you've got to be prepared to make an educated decision and trade on the same market. That's what all the old guys have always said and done, and you can't go too far wrong.
Yeah. No, and so the risk is if we don't, because we haven't got the grass, then it jumps up a couple
again, then your arm's twisted a bit. So do you buy a bit of hay, or do you feed a bit of grain, or do you trickle it along, or you have to change plans. And a lot of people do, and they have a great result. But if the average punter's sold bullocks, right, they haven't obviously flogged the feed out to the point of no return, put some little cattle on, they eat a quarter as much, and they slowly grow, and you've got them on place. So when the season does turn and it does rain,
you're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely ready to go.
Well, that's sort of going to lead nearly into my next question, but you spend a lot of time with a bunch of different clients, and some would be very astute at using the agents very well, and others not so much, just taking them into market and you clipping the ticket each way. What are some of the key things that we can be doing to get the best out of you guys?
Yeah, well, make us part of it. All agents, I think we all want to have a good relationship with our clients, regardless of be it short conversations, quick conversation. You find an agent you can do business with, and make us work. We're not afraid of that. Like, we actually quite like being invested in your business, but you need to put it on the table of what your expectations are and whether or not we'll meet them. And if we can do that, then you grow and develop from there. But a lot of successful businesses, and a lot of around here, have all been based with good agency practice behind it. And I think that's the value we can add to your business, because we add a fresh set of eyes. And if you're prepared to hear what we have to say and listen to what we have to say, certainly can add a lot of value to your business. So make us work and ask the questions, and ask what you don't know that you do need to know to help you move forward. I think that's the key. Because, again, we're running on assumptions on the information that you want as well.
Yeah, and someone like Alders, you got agents everywhere over the state and nationally as well. So
we've got a network everywhere, and we try to use it. Like, obviously, there's agents that we speak to every day, and there's some we speak to every 6 months, but there's some old gem that we never even met, and we only ring once a year about one specific job. But we can certainly track down the information that you need us to do, if you already don't have it at hand, but we can track it down, no worries.
Yeah. Now, you got a couple of younger fellas with pink shirts on now, and they do a bit of physical work for some of your clients as well? Yeah,
obviously clients that we sell cattle for and sell cattle for regularly. Yeah, we've got guys there that can draft cattle and do things that are required for people at all times. That's part of the service for sure.
All right, let's move overseas now, Morgs. You've still got Trump's on speed dial.
Yeah, Don.
What's he been telling you lately?
Well, he upset the US.
They got in lockdown. Well, not lockdown, whatever they call it, recession.
Yeah, not lockdown. What the government stops, the bottom house stops. No, it doesn't get voted through, so then all the government employees stop getting paid, which is nearly gone a month. So there is issues over there. Well,
they get back paid anyway, I heard the other day.
Yeah, but you still just imagine waiting for the day from Don for a month. I'll be sweating.
Yeah.
But no, so there are issues there. He did upset him when he said that he was going to try and drop the American beef price by importing sort of South American stock, which obviously sent all the big cowboys with big hats into disrepute, and they're all very upset about that. But in the end, they want to just keep the quality and the value of their basement box grinding beef and things like that to a point where it's easy and cheaper to buy. And so he said that, and it certainly did for a few weeks, cause a lot of upheaval in their markets. Some stock dropped by 30%. I think that's rallied a little bit, and the price of US tallow, obviously fat and things like that, is also gone through the sort of shot through the floor a little bit, for basically the reason that they're stopped assisting with some of the government assistance for some of those products that produce like high fat meat, which is which makes tallow sales has dropped. So a lot of that cornmeal and things like that, they've stopped subsidising a lot of that.
Right.
So short term, it's just caused a bit of upheaval. But look, I think it'll be okay. I think everyone's still, from where they were 2 years ago to where they are now, they're about 200% dearer than what they were. I think they're going like okay.
Yeah, really did. Where's their herd rebuild at? Are they getting close to rebuilt, or?
I said it's getting dry again in various parts of the US again, so it's hard to rebuild when it gets dry. So, I don't know. America's a big country, so it's all over the place, I think. But I don't think their numbers are very, very short.
Any info for China and exports over there?
Not really. There's an export boat opened up into China for export heifers, and obviously a few East Gippslanders sent a few cattle over there, which export boats have been hard to come by.
Is that all dairy?
Yeah, all dairy Friesian heifers. So it is good. Nice to see that door opened again. AGE took a load of heifers delivery this week. So yeah, I think there was about 2,000 or 3,000 heifers, 4,000 heifers that went getting loaded into quarantine onto a boat, where that used to happen every month, but that hasn't happened for 6 months. So it's, some of the dairy cockies have done it hard, I think. And when export heifers were selling to extreme highs, there's cream on the cake. Your cully heifers that you didn't want, you turn around and sell for $2,000. It's all right.
Yeah. Rightio, let's change tracks a little bit, because we've actually got something. Today was a Friday, and tickets will be live for an event that you're actually been asked to speak at on a panel.
Well, they're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, well, there's going to be yourself, the local representative. We're going to have a national and an international person on there. We'll keep those details secret for a minute. But it's actually the Morgan stud that is putting this day on. So talk to us a little bit first about Morgan and the Sykes family, where they've come from and what they've built up over the years.
Yeah, so it is a great story for East Gippsland, really. An East Gippsland farming family, third generation farming family from Galandapy. Broadened their horizons, took their kids to Longford, and created one of the biggest Hereford studs and best performing Hereford studs in Australia. And now they've swung over to the Angus breed as well, so they're breeding Hereford and Angus bulls, and the Angus bulls are very, very good as well. So the genetics that they're improving all the time, and I'm certain that they'll reach the same highs with the Angus bulls as they have with their Hereford bulls, and internationally semen sales and all that sort of thing, apart from winning Australian National Hereford Show and everything else that they've done in between, which they've just done time and time again. The Sykes family with their 3 kids, Peter and Deanne, Logan, Taylor and Brandon. The kids are all sort of in their 30s now, or close to it, and they've broadened out and opened their eyes and got business happening everywhere, and they're a very, very successful family. And, I think going to their place on this open day will open a lot of eyes and a lot of doors. Not only you get to see their operations, but you'll get to speak about and learn from a few of their experts that we've going to have there on the day.
Yeah, so it's a full day event on Tuesday the 16th of December. Tickets will be through the Gippsland Ag website, is that correct?
Yep, going on sale on Friday, and they will sell out. I think there's about 100 odd tickets.
Did I hear right that it's going to be opened up to Gippsland Ag members first?
Yeah, pretty well. I think it's going to get offered or advertised first. So I'm certain that it's going to sell out, and I'm certain it'll be a very, very good day. So come along, lunch provided, and everything else in between. Yep,
so the title is Red Meat Roadmap, Back to Basics, Forward to Profits. And some of the international speakers, which you're actually pretty excited about, you're going to have a bit of a judge-off with him, is PJ Boulder, is that right?
Yes, yep. Mr. Boulder, I think he's one of the most iconic, internationally noted cattle judges from around the world, and he's coming down to headline the show. So in cattle judging circles and industry insights, he's world-renowned, so probably the most. So the Sykes family are going to be very honoured to have him there, but I think it'll be a great thing, and to have him on site to bounce things off. So bring it on.
Yeah, well, I was actually just looking at the flyer here, which will be released on Friday, but your name actually pops up a few times here. I hope you realise you're a part of the opening panel. You're talking about global, national and local perspectives, which we just mentioned, but you're also on the hands-on session, the cows, calves, bulls and heifers. Yep. What are you doing there?
Just giving a bit of local commercial insight, Al, and whatever I don't know, I'll make up.
Yeah, that sounds like your MO, so that will be good. We've also got people from Rabobank, JBS Australia.
I think the big boss from JBS, Steve Chapman's coming on down. So
it does say here Steve Chapman, JBS Australia. So.
Yeah, he is a heavy hitter too. So Hey, they're the biggest meat company in Australia and the world, and the boss of Southern Operations on site too. So he'll tell you what he thinks anyway. He's done that a few times to me.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's worth be there just to watch you and him battle it out.
Oh, some heavy hitters on that panel, mate.
There'll be plenty of information there, and it's good to make these connections. So just again, Tuesday the 16th of December. Tickets will be on sale through the Gippsland Ag website, or contact one of us here at Gippsland Ag and we'll be pointing you in the right direction if you can't find it. Anything else before we sign off, Morgs?
Yeah, just one last question. Al, what have you learnt this week?
What have I learnt this week? That's been thrown around very quickly. I've learnt one thing that surprised me is how good rain can be for someone's psychological state. It was very dry there for a little while, people getting really nervous. I think the scars run deep from previous droughts we've had around the area, and a bit of rain overnight. And then how quickly we can be saying that's enough rain a week later.
Pretty quick to get off the bus, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. It got pretty wet and you can't get tractors on paddock, and all of a sudden it's a bit too wet. But she's fickle. But like you said, if we don't have a good plan in place and if we haven't planned out things, this rain would have been good for anyone that's got crops in the ground, summer or spring crops. But for a bit of native grass, it doesn't do a whole lot. So there you go. I'll let you off the hook this time. You can use that one, and we'll say goodbye. So thanks for listening.
Gotcha.
Thanks for coming in. A big thank you for tuning in today. And remember, if you have a question about today's episode or a topic you'd like us to cover, reach out to one of our many platforms and join the conversation. We're here because of your passion and commitment to agriculture. Together, we can build a stronger farming future.
This podcast is made possible by the Future Drought Fund Regional Drought Resilience Planning Program, co-funded by the Victorian and Australian governments.